You want to record amazing sounding songs and demos at home. But maybe you're a bit frustrated right now because you have no idea what kind of equipment, software and plugins you need to actually pull this off. Or maybe you have a simple setup already, but you can't get the sound that you want out of it because you don't know that much about mixing. If any of this sounds familiar, you definitely clicked on the right video today. Let's get to work and solve all of these frustrations right away. So while we're going through this really helpful home studio checklist today, I'm also facing a pretty big challenge. I just got a really cool new studio desk that I really want to show you, but I actually have to assemble it first. So let's see if I can finish it until the end of this video. I'm sure that this will help you with deciding if you want or actually need one of those as well. So let's quickly sum up the basics in 1 minute before we get to the exciting stuff. So the first thing you obviously want is a way to connect your guitar to your computer or laptop. We talked about this in that quite popular video already. As you might know, I like to recommend the Focusrite USB interfaces since they are quite easy to use, affordable and pretty good quality-wise. I have the obligatory Scarlett 2i2 USB interface. I think pretty much everybody's working with these. And I recently got the 18i20 that I can hopefully fit into my studio desk later in this video. So basic USB interfaces like this simply allow you to connect your instruments or your microphones, and then you just connect the interface itself via USB cable to your laptop or to your computer. The second thing you need is a DAW or digital audio workstation, or DAW. That one allows you to actually record, edit, mix and master your music. As I could see in the comments, a lot of you guys and girls like to work with Reaper. I personally use Cubase for many years now. Pro Tools is another very popular one. I guess it's mostly a matter of personal preference, but I can really recommend checking out Cubase 10. Alright, so step 1, USB interface to connect your instrument or microphone to your computer. And step 2, a DAW to record, edit, mix and master. That's simple enough, but the next steps make all the difference. What kind of plugins do you actually need to get professional sounding mixes at home? And is it really that hard to do it? Short answer, it's actually pretty easy. But what's not easy is setting up this studio desk. Thankfully Nata is helping me out. You can't see it here, but I made a big mistake right with the first steps that I will have to pay for later. So let's keep moving. When you actually open up your DAW for the very first time, you probably want a good sounding guitar tone right away. And as you might know, nowadays there are pretty much endless possibilities to choose from out there. But I want to show you one simple tool today that made my songwriting process so much easier, and I think it will do the same thing for you. So one of my personal biggest frustrations is having an idea and wanting to record it, but then I find myself endlessly adjusting tone settings and moving knobs around, or maybe even adding effects to my tracks right away to make them sound more like the finished product. So it takes hours to dial in all the details and to get the perfect sounds that I want to have for my song. And as soon as I have everything set up and I'm finally ready to record, the inspiration and initial motivation is gone, and maybe I even forgot what I wanted to record in the first place. So I've been looking for an easy tool that gives me quick and great sounding results right away with pretty much any instrument or signal chain. And I found it with EasyMix 2 from the guys over at Toontrack. This one is perfect for songwriting and for working fast, since you can just pick an effect chain preset for pretty much any instrument that you can imagine. So as you can see, bass, drums, guitars, keyboards, percussion, pretty much everything you need. And you get a good sound out of the box right away. Let's try it. Yeah. Oh, this one is cool. So that's a pretty awesome sound right out of the box, and what I especially like is that they all sound so different. As you can hear, just with the open E string. Those are all completely different sounds. And I think I'm gonna go with that one actually, the rhythm guitars. That one is pretty cool. Of course, you also have some nice lead tones with some added effects on there. So that serves as a nice starting point before you dive into the details and change all the settings and so on. So let's record some classic metal riffs to try it out. Okay, let's get a second guitar track. Okay, those are my two takes. One is panned to the left and the other one to the right. After recording your takes this way, you can still come back and try out different settings and amps and all that. But when I want to get creative, I don't want to get lost in menus or in difficult, complicated plugins. I just want to record right away when inspiration strikes. And with this simple tool, it actually sounds pretty good from the start after a couple of clicks. By the way, I just released a brand new home recording course on Patreon, in case you would like to learn more about songwriting and mixing at home. A lot of you guys and girls asked me about the best EQ settings for guitar. You told me you don't really know how to use compression and effects correctly, or how to professionally mix full songs, and all of this is finally covered in great detail in this new Patreon course. You can find the link to our community below. Make sure to join us today. Alright, so the next thing you definitely need is a good drum plugin. Nothing can replace a great drummer, of course, but most of us sadly don't have the luxury of having a session drummer in the corner of our rooms that's just working 24/7. That would be pretty awesome actually. So I'm currently using the EZdrummer 2. As you can see, Toontrack hooked me up with a lot of pretty amazing plugins recently. As you can hear, this one sounds pretty great. And what makes this one especially cool and easy to work with is that I also got some MIDI packs for different metal genres, for example thrash metal. That actually describes our riff from earlier perfectly. So I can just go in there and look for a drum beat. Okay. I think that sounds like home right away. So I can just take this one and drag it onto the instrument track. So how does that one sound? Yeah. I think that does the job right away. So that's a really awesome shortcut for songwriting to keep moving quickly. Of course, you can always come back to the MIDI tracks and adjust them to your personal preference. But it's just a lot of fun to work with these different building blocks. Let's say I want a different beat right here. Yeah, let's go with some double bass. Yeah, sounds pretty good. Of course, you also get tons of different presets concerning the sound of the drums. That sounds like old school thrash metal right away. I think I want to go with the modern metal package. Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad right away. Yeah, I like that. Let's go with that one. Maybe let's just do something else instead of the toms right here. Let's go with the ride. Yeah. I think that works a bit better. But overall, it's just much more fun than working with a blank canvas and just placing every single hit manually. It's great to have this foundation right away that you can work with. This serves as the perfect foundation to just work on some basic ideas. And it's a lot of fun to dive into those details as soon as you have a basic structure for your track. Alright, so the studio desk is actually almost looking like a real desk by now. In the meantime, we also installed some really cool looking Vicoustic absorption panels, and the desk will be placed right in front of them. Please let me know in the comments if you would like to see an episode on room treatment as well. I think we finally got rid of that nasty reverb in this room by now. Next on the list is a proper bass plugin. So if you actually have a bass at home and you're quite good at playing it, you maybe won't need this. So since I currently don't have a bass at home, I got the EZbass to help me out with that. That's a pretty cool and easy to use bass plugin that works just as well as the EZdrummer. But this time I actually have to program my riff, of course, that I played on guitar. So I think I got it correctly. Let's listen to it. That sounds about right. And then of course I can experiment with the dynamics. In metal you often go for these dynamics, so really aggressive picking attack, assuming that the bass player is playing with a pick right here. And as you can hear, the plugin reacts pretty well to those changes. So here's light picking attack. Heavy picking attack. And in case that's a bit too tame for you, you have some metal presets as well, of course, as you can see. That looks pretty cool. Let's go for a driven pick sound. That sounds pretty awesome. Ooh, there's a lot of low end with this one. Let's listen to how it sounds with fingers. That's pretty impressive actually. I think I will actually go with this sound for the old school thrash metal vibe. That sounds pretty good, and I didn't even mix anything yet. Those are just presets that I picked with one click. Once again, of course, I don't think that these plugins can replace bass players and drummers, but from a songwriting perspective, this is a complete game changer for me, because I can start recording and I can start to get creative right away. And my demos have a lot of clarity. They sound very professional immediately without doing any mixing. And the final thing I want to show you today is that you can actually master your tracks quite easily with the EasyMix plugin. So right here I'm just going to the stereo out bus and I'm picking the EasyMix 2 plugin. As you can see, I got the mastering preset pack. So I can just pick one of these presets again and see what fits the mix best. Here's how it sounds like once again without the mastering preset. And let's turn it on. Pretty big difference, right? Let's go through a couple of different presets. So I think I will just go with the saturation preset for now. And I have a pretty awesome sounding demo that I can bounce and send over to bandmates or to producers. And I think we did all of that in around 5 or 6 minutes. Make sure to let me and our community know about your personal workflow down in the comments. Of course, I would really love to hear about your personal process of recording, mixing and mastering at home. Alright, so the studio desk is almost ready now. One small detail that we didn't film, because I wasn't exactly in a great mood when it happened, is that the keyboard drawer didn't fit at the end. This was actually the final step of the instructions, and we realized that I put one wood panel in the wrong way at the beginning, so I basically had to take the desk apart again. But it was definitely worth it. Here's the result. So this is how the studio desk looks like. We're finally done with setting it up, and I also connected everything already. I think it looks really cool. Of course, it's completely in black, like pretty much everything else in this room. There's not that much going on in the racks right now because my camper is still in the live rack as we're playing a couple of shows. For now, I just have the Focusrite 8920 as an interface. I still have some work to do with the cable management down here. I just connected everything to see if it works. But overall, I'm just really excited to finally have one of these after all these years. That makes work much more fun right away. So thanks a lot for staying until the end. Today was quite a long day, but I still have a random German word for you. Of course, it has to be Tisch. That means table. Make sure to share that one in the comments below, because, as you know, it greatly confuses everybody who's not familiar with the random German word at the end. I will hopefully see you again in the next video. Have an awesome day and tons of fun recording, practicing and shredding. Great news, my friends, I'm finally on Spotify to provide you with some awesome guitar music and shredding. You can already listen to my first full-length album, Elevation. And there's plenty more exciting music in the making for you right now. So make sure to follow me on Spotify today. The link is in the description, or you can just search for my name.